Welcome back to the Citizen channel. Our continuing look at City's Bravehearts or City Bravehearts. We've got to continue our look at Asa Hartford, please. If you've not checked part 1 out yet, please go back and have a look at that. We've got up to season 77-78 now, so we're going to have a look at that season onwards. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications when all these vlogs are coming out and make an old City fan very, very happy. If you give us a little thumbs up as well, that'd be much appreciated. And please, if you're into film and TV, don't forget I do a little film and TV. I have a little film and TV channel as well on the St. Bernardine YouTube site, so check that out. Right, let's get on with the wonderful, diminutive, superb midfielder. Inside left? Yeah, Asa Hartford. So let's go from 77-78. The City failed to quite manage a consistent title run this season. He would feature in 37 league games, managing to score 4 goals. The return this season, the very well known, if you were there, guys, that night, the return of Colin Bell seemed to inspire the Blues at Christmas time, but unfortunately it was not to last. His goals, he scored on September the 3rd, a goal in a 4-0 home win over Norwich. October the 1st in Everton away, a 1-1 draw. December 27th, Borough away, 2-0 win there. He scored in that, and Peter Gardner of the Manchester Evening News described Ace's rare strike from outside the box as City's goal of the season. 25th of April, he scored in a 3-1 home win against Coventry. In the UEFA Cup, we didn't progress very far in that one. He played in both legs of the loss to Bidsev Lodz and 2 FA Cup appearances. And in a run to the quarter-final of the League Cup, managed the last 5 games out of 7 in total. So not the greatest season. So on to 78-79. What did that have in front of us? And despite disappointment, of course, in the Scotland in the World Cup, he came back as far as league football was concerned on fire. He also shared with supporters a new way he had of staying fit and uninjured. Yes, he hadn't done too bad for injuries while he'd been at City or his previous club, West Brom. He shared with supporters a new way he had of staying fit and uninjured this season by simply keeping his pants on before a match. Yeah, he confided in the City desk in the City programme in November 1978. So I'll just read out a little excerpt from that. It's the City versus Ipswich, 25th of November 1978. Headlined, Asa finds tracksuit solution. There you go. You'll never catch Asa Hartford with his pants down. In the pre-match preparation period, the Scottish international midfielder believes he's learned his lesson about that one, which is why he's conspicuous on the field before each kick-off as the only Blues player, apart from substitute, who keeps on his tracksuit bottoms until the referee whistles the players to be ready for the kick-off. It's a routine I've got into this season, explained Asa. I've done it as a precaution against injury, and it's proving successful. Mystified, let Asa continue. A couple of seasons ago, I had a lot of trouble with calf muscle strains that kept recurring each time I made a comeback from the treatment table. In the end, I worked it out. One of the problems could be the change of body temperature before a match. We do quite a brisk gymnasium workout before taking the field to get the muscles toned up, and that gets the body very warm. But taking the field and kicking it in while the captain's meet and formalities are completed cools the body heat. And in my case, I found out the switch from warmth to cold and then quickly into action and another lift in temperature was a possible reason for my continual calf trouble. Muscles have to be tuned. So I stay well wrapped up, keep my tracksuit trousers on until the last minute. Since doing this, I've had no niggles from the muscles, and it seems to be a remedy. Yeah, I mean, if you've been watching these things, I mean, Asa played a lot of games for City with little niggling injuries, but he would play. He played plenty of games, but he was always seemed to be kind, as Pep would call it now, a little niggle, and that was the problem. But that was an interesting way of trying to rectify that. There's probably some truth. I'm not a physiotherapist. Probably some truth in that. This season, we'll tot up 11 star man appearances. Yeah, in the programme, they did a little thing for the City man of the match, basically. No matter if we'd lost or won, it didn't matter. He was the best City player. He totted up 11 in total for this season. And ironically, of course, this would be his last season with City, certainly for a couple of seasons. By the 23rd of December 1978, Asa's star performances were catching the eye of the media in the league and Europe, and he also worked hard at keeping his temper under wraps and trying to walk away from trouble rather than diving in. Didn't always work, but he tried. Peter Gardner commented in the programme versus Rotherham United for the FA Cup match. on the 15th of January 1979 about our midfield dynamo. A regular for his country, Asa Hartford, City Scottish midfield dynamo, who so far this season has not only emerged as the team's most outstanding, consistent performer, but has also won a battle with himself so far as temperament is concerned. Hartford, who admits to having served at least one suspension in every season, has been with the Blues, desperately attempting to alter his image as the angry young man who is first into the fray when the battle boils over. Hartford is now playing by example, and his ability to walk away from flashpoint incidents can only be admired. While 1978 was unsuccessful in terms of something tangible on the table, this was sort of looking back at 78 as a year rather than a season. Like a major trophy. Qualification for Europe was a hard-earned consolation prize. FA Cup progress was halted by Forest, while the League Cup bid ended at Arsenal in a quarter-final replay at the end of January. So even Peter Gardner was commenting on discipline and how he was trying to bring it under control. April 1979, though, he asked to be put on the transfer list as manager Allison, so no further use for him and many other senior pros at the time. He quotes a conversation he had with Allison after Malcolm's return to City. Asa said, "I remember him saying to me after only a few weeks, I was told you were having a good season, so what's happened?" That's typical Allison. He was the City Supporters Club 1979 Player of the Year, collecting almost half of all the votes cast, a clear winner. His last game in his first stint was a 3-2 loss to Villa at Main Road on May the 15th. That season he managed 39 league appearances with 3 goals. October the 28th he scored in a home 2-2 draw with West Brom. November the 25th he scored in that home game we'd looked at before, a 2-1 loss to Ipswich, and on May the 5th in a 2-0 win to Bristol City at Main Road. He played in all of 8 City's UEFA Cup games. We had a good run that season in our run to the quarter-finals. On October the 18th, he scored his very first European goal in a 4-0 home win over Standard Liège. And on the 6th of December, a goal in the home 3-0 win over AC Milan. This was after him featuring very well in the outstanding 2-2 draw in the San Siro. Peter Gardner said of him, the architect of the victory was dynamic Asa Hartford. This was the 3-0 home win, whose midfield command was so total that he forced Gianni Riveri, one-time golden boy of Italian soccer, to retire at half-time. It probably scared him off. He also made 3 FA Cup appearances and 5 League Cup appearances. So what happened? What happened and where did he go? Well, we know Allison came, didn't want him, got rid of all the seniors, of course. Probably a wage problem or he just wanted to bring in his new young heroes, didn't he? So what happened? I mean, irony of ironies in typical City fashion. City's Player of the Year, Asa Hartford, on 27th of June 1979, left for Brian Clough's Notts Forest for a sizable fee at the time, 500,000. He was possibly at his peak. 500,000 approximately. But of course, Clough style, and obviously Ace's sometimes lack of discipline perhaps didn't rub up too well, and they certainly didn't suit each other. And within 2 months, Forest had got rid. They'd recoup their 500,000, just selling him straight on to Everton. So that's where he spent a couple of years. We'll get back to Everton in a minute when Ace will tell us about his stay there. So on to the 81-82 seasons when he reappeared. Mixed things for City in the meantime, of course, without Asa. But on October the 1st, 1981, the prodigal son returned to John Bond's then 7th place City on a 3-year contract for 350k. So he dropped a little bit in value, but still a sizable amount of money to pay out. John Bondo at this stage was a bit of a star. His star would soon be on the wane, unfortunately. This would be the only full, complete season in charge of City, though he did thank chairman and the board for backing him in the transfer market, which he certainly did, and certainly this purchase of Asa Hartford backed that up. And things did look good for a while. He made his second debut in the League Cup second round first leg on October the 7th against Stoke City and scored in a 2-0 win. He said, I was delighted to be back and it was a bonus to get a goal. What did the others say about him? Well, they said a touch of gold dust. It was a move of quality with a touch of class at the end, said John Bond, his manager. The Daily Express declared, Asa has a party. The Manchester Evening News said, Asa still on top of the class. And then Peter Gardner went on to say, Hartford personified the old City spirit with a bubbling display that caught the imagination of his midfield colleagues, who were infected by the Scots' ambition to impress, and impress he did. His first league game back was 3 days later, not quite as exciting, a 0-0 draw with United at Main Road. Asa said in an interview for the Match magazine against United, he sort of mentioned his stay at Everton. He's talked about that. He said, I enjoyed my stay immensely at Everton when I was given first-class treatment. Not too much mention of Forest, though, either by the fans and the players. But my heart has always been at Main Road since I first came from West Brom in 1974. The sort of thing all City fans want to hear. What we want. City's decline in the second half of the season, though, coincided with Asa not being fully fit for the last few months again. Having the old tracksuit wasn't working anymore, was it? Perhaps he stopped doing it and forgot all about it. The last few months, he readily accepted he just wasn't fit. He would feature in 30, though, of the 34 league games. As we pointed out before, he played a lot of games where he wasn't fully fit at all. He would play in 30 and 34 league games. He was around for scoring. Yeah, scored 3 times this season. On the 26th of December, he scored in a very rare win at Anfield, a 3-1 win on Boxing Day. It had been 28 years since the last time we beat them. On the 28th of December, he scored in the 2-1 home win against Wolves, after which City sat proudly on top of the league. Oh, where did it all go wrong? On the 28th of December, and on the 24th of April, he scored in a 1-1 home draw with Ipswich. In the FA Cup, he made 2 appearances. Despite his best attempts, Bond was livid, absolutely livid with Hartford, who got himself sent off in the 3-1 loss to Coventry in the 4th round of the FA Cup at Main Road on the 23rd of January. Bond commented in his column a week later in the Match magazine about this. It's not very complimentary. He said, Asa Hartford needs his backside kicking hard for the incident which resulted in him being sent off. It was a lack of self-discipline born out of frustration. It's bad enough when you're not doing your stuff. The problem Asa was having, and now you don't go trying to compensate for those shortcomings by trying to kick opponents. Playing it short and simple, Asa is world class. Playing as he did against Coventry, he's not worth 2 bob. Yes, straight to the point, I think, from Mr. Bond there, that's for sure. In the League Cup, he made 4 appearances with 1 goal, which we already talked about. Well, there you go. We will go in the next part of this little feature on Asa Hartford. We will go into the 82-83 season. Definite horrible history season for City. And it would turn out not so much for Asa, but in the long term it would for Asa Hartford. So join me for part 3 of this City Bravehearts. And I'll look at Asa Hartford. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your memories. Let me know your thoughts. Much appreciated. Until we meet again, that's one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Bye for now.